The beauty of Idyllwild is it's focused on families, family camps. That is what Idyllwild was famous for. Not a ski resort, not for other kinds of generalized vacation activities. Idyllwild is quaint. It doesn't have chains. Everything's ma and pa. They have family activities. A delightful place. Plus, you have the wilderness. You have the parks. It has the beauty of nature. It has the beauty of intellectual exchange, the art. It's a fantastic place. I am Nancy Pearlman, here in the Pearlman cabin, which I inherited from my parents, Kenneth and Agnes Branch Pearlman, who had this place designed by the very famous architect John Lautner. My mother worked collaboratively with the architect because she found the, quote, unbuildable lot here in Idyllwild. It's a beautiful place that they wanted to come to because they were very active in the music, art, dance, plays, and everything else to bring intellectuals to the beautiful nature of these San Jacinto Mountains in the San Bernardino National Forest. My mother was an interior designer, knew modern architecture. She wanted some other architects who were too expensive or too busy. They recommended Lautner, who was just getting going. This was basically his first round house. The concept of the circle was my mother's. She had a 100-year-old antique round table that she wanted a house designed around. She wanted the windows, the view to be open. Cabin is in many, 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 many books of architecture about John Lautner and other mid-century modern architects. I don't know how many he designed, but this was definitely the first roundhouse that he designed and is on the National Register of Historic Places. When my parents decided to build their vacation home here in the mountains, which is really reflective of my mother's upbringing in West Virginia and the Appalachians. Dad was a city boy from Brooklyn, New York. They wanted to be up here, and Mom was very involved in modern architecture, modern interior design, and she did think of some other famous architects of the time who were either too expensive or not available. They recommended Lautner, who was just getting his practice going. He needed the work, he was affordable. He could work collaboratively with my mother. I consider this a joint project in terms of what was designed. She worked with him, came up, was involved in the construction because my uncle, Bill Branch, her brother, actually did it. There were only two variations. One is Uncle Bill was living in a tent, and when it got wintertime with the snow and cold, he turned the closet into a bedroom so he could live there while he finished building the rest of the cabin. Mom and Dad were just starting a family in the 50s. They wanted the vacation home, which was common among middle-class couples at the time. So some of the furniture here was actually brought up from our Santa Ana home where I grew up. She bought some very unique designer pieces of furniture, from the Matheson chair to other items. She brought up her baby grand piano that fit perfectly here. The couch, it's been reupholstered, but that was in our living room. The table, she liked having a desk in every room, in every house. But to have an ordinary desk that was rectangular would have been not according to the circular design of the house. So she actually designed the desk and had her cabinet maker make it to fit this place, to make it look right. In the 50s, rooms in homes were separate. But here's a vacation home. Kids are playing in here. Adults are conversing. She didn't mind working in the kitchen, but she wanted to be part of the action. So she had the open kitchen concept. We still have the 1957 one-unit stove, oven, and refrigerator. It's still working and it's still there, but it's an open concept. And she'd like to see some of the open bookcases with the china and the books. But on the other hand, the walls with the canned goods and so forth looked like just an ordinary wall, but you press them, they open up its closets. Surprises a lot of people. I was 10 years old at the time it was being designed, so I don't know too much about the design process. I do know for the construction, it took about 1 year. And I did meet Lautner. I had him on my Environmental Directions radio show back in the 90s. Mom and I went to his funeral. They stayed in touch. Lautner periodically would come up here. Other people in his architectural firm would come up here. And it was an ongoing friendship. I have restored the home in terms of anything that needed repair, but I haven't changed anything in terms of look. I have tried to maintain this place in the original for multiple reasons. One is I come up here to enjoy myself. Why do I want to be changing it? The logs that hold up the windows are the original. The deck with the big, big door, which surprises people, it's a door that opens, we go out on the deck. It's the original. We built it around an oak tree, but it did start rotting. So I had it rebuilt exactly the way it was. The paint job, when I saw posting by some Dutch architects saying, oh, that's a beautiful yellow color, I said, wait, it was never yellow, that was faded. I said it was time to repaint it, the original color. So everything has been repainted the original green so that it looks like it was. Growing up in this cabin, I simply enjoyed it. And it wasn't until some Pomona College students decided to submit it for recognition on the National Register of Historic Places. I'm pleased that it's recognized nationally as a very unique piece of architecture. It doesn't matter to me, I come up to enjoy it regardless. However, I do believe that unique places that are first or special in many different regards should be saved and preserved. There was a big debate when I needed the new roof many years ago. My brother had done all the repairs over and over, year after year. He says, I can't patch the leak anymore. It's time for the new roof. Mid-century modern architecture was not really designed for the snow. So we have the roof coming down to a flat, lots of leaking. Very common among Frank Lloyd Wright buildings, Lautner buildings, it's common. My brother said, let's put an angle on the wing like this. I said, Phil, no, that's not in the original design. So we had a little family interaction, and I kept it as original as possible because I think it's important that places like this stay to the original concept. What saddens me is that when somebody buys an historic place, a famous place by a famous architect, and destroys it or changes it so significantly from the original that we lose that history. As long as I'm alive, this stays original. I was privileged to inherit this beautiful place so that I can have my getaway from the craziness of Los Angeles. This is the Pearlman cabin, and it will go down to the family, to my nieces and nephew, and to my great nieces and nephew, so that it stays in the family.